Our 151 keeps going up. You see 3 straight days where it's been pretty much going up. It's all yellow. Just a $1 decrease on the bundles. I heard that there was a bundle restock lately, and that didn't really do anything. We're still at about $77 bundles. We're seeing ETBs hit new highs. So the ETB suddenly went toward about $300. It didn't really look like it hit there today. But all of a sudden, it's up $13. It's really close to 300. PCTBs are at 740, and they always have a good price ladder. Bonders keep rising. They're getting to 132, and most importantly, Blooming Waters keeps rising, which just ups the cheap pack price. We're now at 11.55 per pack. And we're actually heading toward the 140s too. So 151 keeps going as people are in what I call hoarding mode. I think people kind of know that like they should get 151 while they can. If you wait too long, it'll just get bought out. The booster bundles, yeah, they had that big buyout yesterday. Someone bought 300 booster bundles over here at $80. So even a more expensive one, and the price of these is still just really, really expensive. You see, it goes to 78 pretty quickly. Even like it's at 70. That's like 78.60. So, and there's not like a ton of bundles. People are just buying these up. Like bundles are a very clear investing sort of thing. Bundles are currently at about 12.83 a pack, $13 a pack. Even at that price, people didn't know that it's gonna do well long term. It really brings to light like, hey, is $20 151 packs in the future like gonna just suddenly happen? Honestly, with it being this strong, with Pokemon trying to reprint it so much, like what else can they really do? You're seeing a Crown Zenith sort of situation or worse, to be honest. Um, for packs, the number of packs sold was I think about 85. Very low packs for Crown Zenith, but yeah, 85 for 151 packs were bought. There's still you can still get a bunch of cheap packs like by poster collections. So if you want to get 151 and you want to go on a budget, you can still get it that way. Um, and yeah, there's still a bunch of people we're just waiting for these packs to get bought now, especially these at about $11. Otherwise, the prices will jump to about 11.50 and then to about $12. So don't be surprised that a jump happens. This will probably happen eventually. And then probably if I look at how much people are paying for, they're still paying for around a lot of 11.15s to 11.40s or ATBs, PCTBs. Yeah, they keep going up. Two sold yesterday, one sold today. You just see this huge price increase over the last 30 days, and it's still rising. It's at 740. 745 is next. 750 is next. So it's heading towards the 750, maybe 765. It's just that 151 is so popular and there's so few of these that like I don't know when this will stop, but it's really expensive, but it keeps going up. So people will pay for it. That's kind of how it goes. UPCs, they sold 0 yesterday after selling a good amount the other day at 7, and they're having a little harder time to go up right now. I'm gonna look at like the price per pack. I know that like the promos are worth something. The price per pack for UPC is 25 versus ETB is 30, 32. I don't know. These haven't risen in a while. Not sure if they will, but yeah, there's a chance. I haven't really thought that through, but just thinking out loud for that. Other things are 151s going up. UPCs are definitely a collectible item, so they should probably go up at some point if they haven't been going up. Question mark. Um, Booster bundle displays one sold yesterday. Sold for about $1,000, and eventually, as 151 gets more expensive, these will get bought out. But right now, as I've said before, 16.65 a pack compared to what else you can get. People just aren't really fully willing to pay that yet. ETBs, I mentioned this, they just also keep going up. I think the PCTB hype has also affected the regular ETB hype, especially since there hasn't really been reprinted. 3 were sold yesterday and 1 was sold today. And yeah, it could have soared yesterday. It was around 285. It wasn't that close to 300. But now I see it's pretty much at 300. This is at like 297. There's 4 of them. 299, 2, and this is pretty much 300. And then, yeah, usually to break 300, it takes quite a bit of resistance. But honestly, with 151 doing so well, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually hit 300 tomorrow. But I guess we'll see. Um, posters have been selling better which is good. They are kind of one of the I don't really look at the mini tins and stuff, but as far as what I'm tracking, posters are the cheapest way to get packs. I know a lot of people don't like them; they're kind of bulky. 6 of them sold yesterday. 8 of them sold today. I'm just waiting for these to hit $34. I see 35 over here, 34 is over here, and the main seller over here that has a budget is Fantasy TCG, 16. But yeah, eventually when 151 gets so expensive, like Blue Waters already had like the two sort of already had a big reprint recently, so I don't know. I don't really know what else they can really do. But Pokemon has been printing more of the smaller things. So I think poster collections might always be susceptible until they finally stop reprinting it. Binders, they've been selling a lot more lately. You see the price rise from like 110 to 1, now like it's 132. 3 were sold yesterday. People are just starting to buy up the binders. I see this cheaper one over here for 110. And yeah, they're starting to get just more expensive again. Like these hit like the 150s or 160s before, and then they kind of dropped. The supply is just suddenly really low again. This is like you get to 145 over here, you get to like 150 over here, and then Blue Waters. 4 were sold yesterday, and yeah, I'm seeing 140s already. A lot of these are selling 140s, but I think the first one's a little cheaper. But other than that, like there's not a lot. So don't be surprised it hits 140 pretty soon. I think the previous high was like 145. All right, we're here. Destined Rivals reaches $300. It's up $10 from yesterday. Up 9.99, so 299.99. PCTPs are down $1. There's some other drops. ETBs are down 2. Bundles are down $1, and then cases are down $18. But finally, $300 booster boxes like Destined Rivals. Like this is kind of what we thought Surging Sparks might do. Actually, Surging Sparks never quite reached 300, but I was really hoping it would reach 300, but never went that crazy. But I think the difference between Destined Rivals and Surging Sparks, one of them is that they're both hype sets, so they're both very similar. Both hyped to be really good. Team Rocket has a little bit more of the nostalgia factor with the Rocket. They haven't reprinted one of these in a while. But other than that, I think it's just the price point. Like a lot of people were able to get Surging Sparks for cheap. Like a lot of people probably got around $100 to $150, and they've already had multiple reprints. So with those two things, that's why Surging Sparks is so low. But with Destined Rivals, it's just been rising a lot, and it's just been there's a lot of good signs. Like the demand was dropping a bit, but it's been kind of holding steady at around I guess 20, I guess 15 yesterday. So the low has been kind of 15. If this drops a lot lower, then we'll see negative signs. As far as the booster boxes go, I do see the price ladder start to slow down a bit. At the bottom, I see 310, but otherwise, I see a lot of 305s, or up to here is 302. So about all these sellers are selling for about the same price up to here. So that's 10. That's about 14 boxes until 305. So seeing a little bit of a slowdown in prices possibly, but not excessive supply. The main thing that I like to see the correlation with the cases, and cases are still selling pretty well. So even though the case price went down, I see 2 more sold. You're seeing just a bunch of cases still being sold. Only 15 are listed, and there's only one left at $17.50. The $300 booster box would mean I have to go to $1,800. So the cases are a lot cheaper right now than the booster boxes. So these might get bought out, and there's not a lot of them. So I don't know. We're still seeing some positive signs, like some signs of slowdowns, but some like still good signs. The normally to be sold 22 kind of normalish for PCTB. They're at 188 now. A bunch of them sold yesterday at 17, which is quite a bit. So I think some people might be getting Destined Rivals. I've just been seeing, so Journey Together has been seeing more demand. This is still seeing a spike. And then Black Bull and White Flare, their PCTBs, everything has been rising. Everything else has been more stagnant. So PCTBs are starting to get more targeted, I feel like. And yeah, with the price of Destined Rivals going up, these PCTBs are also going up in price. They're going up to like 195 now. And then bundles are selling for about 24. All right, Paldean Fates. So the main thing is that the PCT finally recovered. It's back at 350, up $37. There's a cheap one available. I'm guessing someone bought it, or they repriced it. But yeah, I do see a cheap one. I think this was it. I think it was 300 plus $50 shipping. And yeah, there's only 24 listed. Like, there's not a lot of Paldean Fates ETBs, which is part of the reason the price has gone up so much. So this is the cheapest one, and it goes back to 375. Let's go back to the normal stuff. So Paldean Fates bundles are still pretty cheap at 67. I don't know. There's just this huge price drop. 27 sold yesterday, which is pretty decent. But we're still not really close to that $75 mark. We're kind of going back to maybe the 70s. So unfortunately, a lot like I don't know. It's probably a good time to get one Paldean Fates bundles at this price point. Now they're back to like $11 a pack, and just pretty cheap again. For the packs, they sold a bunch the other day at like 50. 12 sold yesterday, but more packs have been selling, and I think we're just slowly getting rid of the cheaper packs. For this is a normal ETB, so they're still below 200. 0 sold yesterday after 4 sold the day before, and yeah, these are the cheapest sellers. They're selling for 200. Then there's that jump to about 215. So there's just been lower demand all of a sudden. I think, especially with the bundles decreasing all of a sudden, I think that's had an impact on Paldean Fates. Otherwise, it was like rising quite a bit. And then a lot of these booster bundle displays have been selling. So 2 of these sold yesterday. And Nina Harrison's starting to run out. I think she was at like 12 or something, or at least above 10. We're still waiting for Trading Card World to up their price. I mean, yeah, so that they're not putting a price ceiling. But booster bundle displays, still not terrible, $13 a pack. Alright, so Crown Zenith, the packs, the prices are about the same as yesterday, and only 2 packs were bought today, or yesterday. But what I'm starting to see is like you're starting to see this price start to rise. Like, so I've been listing at 11.25 because there's just this one seller who keeps listing them for like 11.25. Otherwise, it goes to 11.50. But otherwise, like, is anyone seeing that like we're actually pretty close to $12 per pack? Like, sure, there's like an okay amount of quantity, but like suddenly like $12 is really $11.95 is really close. Over here, that's about 80 packs, and here that's about 24 packs. So it's only 100 packs until we reach like $12 a pack, and then the aside from that seller, we're already upping the listed price for TCG players. So even though pack demand's been kind of shaky sometimes, like this is I think slowly happening under people's feet, or I don't know the phrasing. Sea and Sky is sold zero yesterday. James Sneaker still has 5 of them and now that's kind of determining how long it takes until we reach 175. For ETBs, 2 sold yesterday, 1 sold today. And as I said before, we're just kind of waiting for people to buy up the $190 ones. Because there's just a bunch from here for Drew's Gaming Galaxy. There's like 20 ETBs there. Otherwise, we can finally start reaching toward 195. And then booster bundles sold 0 yesterday. I still think these are things that are likely to rise in general just because there's so little of them. It seems like there's a scarcity sort of thing. Either people are hoarding them or there wasn't enough printed, or people open them. I don't know. But yeah, there's so few of them that people just have to spend a very small amount of capital in order to raise the price of booster bundles. So the next target is 107 and then it's 110. Alright, Prismatic. So you're seeing the ETBs kind of climb back up surprisingly. I've been seeing a lot of pictures of the Sam's Club, Prismatic, and Pokeball combo. And so it's a little surprisingly went up. So I'm going to look at that. They're up about 460. Binders are up actually surprisingly as well. They're actually hitting close to $70. They haven't really breaking $68 in a long time, so I want to take a look at that too. Bundles are down a little bit. Surprise box are down a little bit, but bundles are still kind of holding strong above $70, which is good. Surprise boxes are kind of in the mid territory. Tin displays keep dropping. I think because someone listed a bunch of them, so they're dropping another $2. And the PCTB dropped about $1. So let's take a look at this. The Super Premium Collection. It sold about 10 yesterday, kind of normal-ish, and I'm seeing 215 still in the range, but it seems kind of stuck in this 210, 215 range, which is pretty good because before it was stuck between like 190 to 210, so it's still a good stability point, especially with the recent restocks of Prismatic. Yeah, you see ETB demand starts to rise a lot. You see 40 selling per day. And yeah, somehow the price is still kind of keeping up despite all these reprints. So we'll see what happens. Prismatic has had so many reprints and restocks and stuff that I don't know. It usually ends up going down like every time, but maybe this will be a shift. Maybe people think that Pokemon's fine printed enough. I'm not really sure. Although, like I think in the future they will probably print a sort of like Sea and Sky or Blue and Water sort of thing for Prismatic. Like they just did that for all the big, really good specialty sets. But then at that point, ETBs, you've all seen what happened with 151 ETBs and Cross ETBs. They rose quite a bit as well. PC ETBs sold a bunch yesterday, actually, so 20 sold. I mentioned it would probably take like another buyout to try to reach 250. Didn't quite reach that mark. And we do see some 250s being sold. Last time the big buyout was about 40, and I think if a little more was bought, we could have broken 250. Maybe we'll see breaking 250 after this. Last time it took like a day or two to actually break to the next price points. Prismatic bundles sold about 24, and yeah, it's just like it's always like below 72, so I'm just want to go a little above that. Demand was kind of okay. Bundle displays have been selling more for some reason a lot lately. Not really sure why. They're just selling a lot more. You're seeing 4 straight days, one sold yesterday, one sold today, and there's only 10 on the market. Well, no, a lot of these are not bundle displays, so there's only 2 on the market. I think Varuni Pokeshop keeps relisting them because otherwise, like, I don't really know how these are selling. But yeah, people keep selling. People keep buying these up for some reason. Prismatic packs. The number of packs sold was, I don't know if actually, they sold about 100. So that's a good number of packs sold. Pack price is still hovering around 1080. It went down like a few cents, but otherwise it's about the same. And which is pretty impressive also with this reprint stuff. Like I'm just waiting for all this stuff to kind of settle down a little bit and see what happens. But you're still seeing hover around 1080, which is pretty good. Like Prismatic was at $10 so long. I'm just kind of prepared, bracing myself for like the drops. But we do see some positive signs despite all that. Good amount of surprise boxes we bought yesterday at 10. That's a little higher than normal. But still, I remember seeing these at 70. So even getting 65 might be kind of good for these, but they're not as exciting. But the binders, I have not seen these break 68 in a while. So this is actually, I usually don't talk about binders as much, but to me, that's actually something to like policy assign for a significant change coming up. Policy, we are going to see like what's happening with 151 and such. Maybe not as extreme, but we're seeing that if they don't reprint the binders as much, then these things will go up. Pokemon seems to be a little more selective on which products they reprint, which kind of makes sense. You don't want to reprint like everything, honestly. Like the logistics of that, especially all the tariffs and stuff, it's probably crazy. But yeah, these binders, I don't really get why the binders should be like pretty easy to reprint. I don't like they're not that complicated. But yeah, binders, I'm keeping an eye out for that. I haven't seen them cross the $70 in a really long time. Pouches sold about 6 yesterday, and I forgot to filter this, but yeah, I think with all the reprints and stuff, I don't really expect this to break 50 anymore, just because there's so much more supply of packs available now. And Nintendo displays, they've been dropping mostly because of just the one seller who listed about 40 Illumination, and now you're seeing people try to undercut it. But they put it for 222. Otherwise, it was so stable around 227 for so long. But yeah, one did sell yesterday. All right, joining together, Fine made some headway on the cases. So this case Fine went up, and there were some sales after having a case. So it's $5 up, and now you're seeing there's still some cheaper enhanced boxes for $215. Otherwise, you see like $250, $225, $220. That's the price of joining together typically. I'm gonna look at the cases. So the cases were the reason why joining together kind of started to decline. You see, like ever since about July 15th, so about a week and a half ago, there's been very little sales, and finally we had a sale yesterday with 2 of them. So 2 of these sold for about $1,300, maybe a little more. I don't know what shipping was. And now we see one left at $1,320, and it goes to $1,350, which is the price of the other case over here. So as the momentum happens, then we can see some of the cheaper cases sold. We see there's about 3 cases of $1,350 over here. And then, but for the loose boxes, see we see 2 sold yesterday, 1 sold today at 215. Legendary hobby still has 3 more of them, and then it'll go back to about 220. And then for these hints ones, yeah, people are still buying these. I see 2 sold. And yeah, people are still paying this $250 price for these, so it's pretty insane. JM Secrets has a bunch of them. I wish they would just decrease their quantity, just relist later on. But yeah, otherwise, like this is getting pretty expensive. For joining together ETBs, 9 sold, kind of a normalish amount. PCTBs, still I'm seeing increased sales for PCTBs, 4 sold. And I don't really see it based on. I definitely see it. There was a big slowdown around July 7th to July 13th. Definitely see more like about 4 to 5 per day a lot of days. And then joining together, bundles sold 10, which is kind of normalish. Alright, so Black Bull White Flare. As I said before, the main thing that keeps rising at the PCTBs, they've had their drops, but everything else, like all the other prices are pretty stagnant. You see ETBs commonly around $90. But the PCTBs, even though there's a $20 difference, like they're starting to make their difference. I'm just gonna go back a little bit toward maybe just a little bit here to see the price difference. Like the difference between a PCTB and normal TB was like about $3 per pack, and right now we're about $6 per pack. So for Black Bolt, and about 475 per pack for White Flare. So the PCTVs are definitely getting their value in. As far as other price changes, the binders for Black Bolt are up $2. But otherwise, yeah, the main attention has been on the PCTVs. Pokemon has been reprinting the PCTVs. They did it for Prismatic. They did it for Destined Rivals, I think. Or I don't fully remember the order, but they have been reprinting the PCTVs for later sets. So I do think they will get a reprint eventually. 70 were sold for the normal ETBs. It's been kind of stabilizing at that point, 70 to 80. PCTBs, they've been kind of stabilizing around roughly 15 sold per day. And yeah, there's just not a lot listed. So that's the main thing. There's only 55. So I find that kind of strange. Just not really sure what happened with that. For Black Bolt bundles, I see 28 sold, and that's a little more normal, so these suddenly went up a bit. So there's 264, but most of it's from gaming company over here at 230. So if that wasn't there, these things might go up. I don't know, but there's some weird stuff going on with these bundles. But it's mostly because they're still pre-release items. For binders, the demand kind of dropped a little bit from about 25 to about 20. For these poster collections, they've been kind of stable, selling around 40, 35 to 40. And then these mini tin displays went back up to demand about 8, but otherwise it's been kind of more stagnant. I don't really like these mini tin displays. For White Flare, you're seeing demand kind of still stay around the 70s, dropped a little bit from like the 80s. For the PCTBs, you see it still being kind of stagnant around 13 to 16. And I don't know, the highest is about 167. There's only 69 left, but there is more than Black Bolts. And then the bundles, so about 15. They don't have Gaming Company put a bunch of them as well. And then the binders, they sold about 30, which is kind of normal. Alright, Final Fantasy. So the collector bosses, as expected, they did rise, but it seems like even though they're so undervalued, they seem to have a shaky sort of rise. Seems to be the kind of pattern, and I just really think loose packs are being eating up more than collector boxes, just because people can afford them. And yeah, we're still seeing the price differential. And but the big thing, other than that, was Omega packs. They rose $10. I wasn't expecting that. I do know in general, like Omega packs should be worth more than collector packs because they're a collector pack plus other cards and they're encased in a box, so they're less worthy. Like it's just less possible to do tampering in that sense. So they're up $11, but I didn't really see that sort of happen in the price ladder. And honestly, like even though like logically it would make sense for these to be worth more, that's not always how the market works. Like it's kind of more on like you have to think about it. Like people are just gonna look at packs, and therefore more packs are gonna be bought, and then like it takes enough people to kind of know this, like be smarter and more educated to kind of buy the mega packs. But you also need like more normal people to kind of know that as well, and also desire the mega packs, or have the mega packs have some sort of popularity thing. It's kind of like if I asked you what crypto to invest in, a lot of people know Bitcoin and Ethereum and can't really name other ones, even if they are better. And therefore you know that's why they rise a little more than they should. But the collector box is 19 sold yesterday, but 23 already sold today. So actually impressive demand for today. Um, and but these things, like there's a bunch hovering around 1320, especially RJ Briggs has 7 over here. So that's kind of putting a little bit of a price ceiling right now. Wouldn't be surprised if one day that they just all get bought up and it gets, because it should really be around the high 1300s, like 1350 to 1400, and that's really not that far away, especially considering the demand numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised if this suddenly just rises. You do see a steady rise of this on the graph. I'm gonna look at a mega packs next. So how did that happen? So yeah, 53 Omega packs only bought, so someone did buy a bunch of them. There's actually only 97 available. And the thing about mega packs though is that we might run into supply demand issues. Um, because I think that the increase in value in loose packs is a little artificial, because loose packs should always be worth kind of less, because in some ways, because you can open boxes to get packs, but you can't get boxes from packs. Like once you open a box, it's already over. You've done something that can't be reversed. And I'm noticing suddenly the mega pack quantity is only 97 versus like packs. Like people have packs all the time. Like they'll get replenished. And so yeah, they bought a lot of them. I don't know how much this will sustain, but like this is pretty much like a tripling. Like 17 times 3 is 51. It's kind of a tripling demand, and honestly, we're not even that far. It's like 134. But this is kind of what I was seeing yesterday. I wasn't expecting to rise so much, but someone did buy it out, so maybe that was a good call. Depends how scarce the mega packs are. For loose packs, they've been selling around 20 to 26. There's some cheaper one over here for about 118. There's 4 packs. Otherwise, it goes kind of back to closer to 123. There's a seller also for 120. And look at collector box cases. No cases have been bought, so we're still stuck with like. Actually, I think there's. Yeah, we're still stuck with these 2 cases around 9,000. Um, and then for Japanese, we went down $1. Technically loose packs, yeah, we did go down $5. Japanese, I remember seeing more sales the other day, but it seems like it's kind of oscillating a little bit. Every now and then 6 will be sold. I wouldn't be surprised if one day people will just like buy up a bunch of these and realize there's not a lot. Only 41 are listed, and but they're all hovering around the same price, either like to 710 to 725. And then for play boxes, demand went up a little bit to 52, and a lot of people are still trying to get rid of them around 230. I do see 235 ahead a little bit, so maybe it'll go to 235. For collector box cases, 0 sold yesterday. I mean, play box cases. There's a cheaper one over here for about 1260. Then we had Tor, like the 1300s have always been there, but people seem like they really want to get rid of these. There hasn't been enough demand, and yeah, so therefore the price has been pretty stagnant below like 1300. And here are the gift bundles. Gift bundles have been selling a little more lately at about 65 per day, literally 2 days straight. Before that, it was kind of 20s and 30s. And I don't know, the price doesn't seem like it'll go up that much. It'll go up like a few dollars.